Hello. This is my regional conference. Sorry that I couldn't get in yesterday. I tried. I was up until 1 a.m., but I couldn't. But I'm a problem solver and I'm getting it done right now. So, for starters, um, at the start of reading The Lincoln Highway, I wasn't sure where to go with it because it's a very different book from A Long, Long Way in that the A Long, Long Way had this incredible command of language. It was kind of enchanting in that its descriptions were so vivid. The Lincoln Highway didn't exactly have this. It enchanted me in other ways, which I'll get to, but this was not one of them. Which brings me to my first point, which is that when I didn't know what to do with a detail, I would pose it as a question. And this actually helped me a lot. I think the forest analogy works pretty well to explain this because if you're walking through the forest of literature, you need some semblance of directions, or else you could fall into a river or get eaten by a bear. I don't know. And I think that's what Nabokov means when he talks about the artistic sense that one needs to be a good reader. That is your sort of direction through the book, knowing where the author is leading you. And so we can see how this helped me, starting all the way on page 3 of my journal. Woolley says this line, "I wish I didn't know where my mother was." And I didn't know what he meant by that. But when I posed this as a question, it was kind of standing there in my mind. And then later on, as I went along the path, I was able to get a greater understanding of Woolley's character with this question kind of hanging there, waiting to be answered. I was able to follow the path to Woolley's thoughts and get inside his head. And then you can see this again. It's Woolley again. Why? This was when he was in that store. I forgot the name. But there was this super long descriptions of furniture. And it was like so out of place. So I noted it down because I had no idea why. And then I was able to follow the trail of these little minute details that Woolley spends ages on and get to this theme of kind of appreciating what you have, what's around you. And I think that's something Woolley's character stressed a lot. So I was only able to get there with this strategy of asking questions. And then here, why does Abernathy want to see Ulysses? When I pose this as a question, I can then lead myself down the trail of Abernathy's motivations, Abernathy's life, and kind of get a greater understanding of when he mentioned the diamond on its side. I could instantly connect that back to his past actions just because I posed this as a question. And so that was a really big strength. And it also helped me gain a more complete understanding of where the story was going. So then Perrine says that the most valid interpretation accounts for the most details. So this helped me get a better picture of where is Amor Towels leading me? Where does the trail lead? What is he trying to teach me? Because the more details I have, the more that I'm able to see into the book and gather more meaning that the author is trying to impart on me. My next point is that in substitute of looking at this kind of beautiful language, I looked at the characters and their motivations and their actions. This was very effective. I think this is how this book enchanted me. It was in the characters. There were so many characters and they were all so deep with so much. And that's why I kind of looked into their motivations. What drives them to do the things they do? And that helped me kind of pull meaning out of each character. I think each character had something to teach us. So this was very important. Like right here, I noted that Sarah and Dennis seemed really unhappy. There was like Duchess walking around the house. Dennis had no pictures of Sarah, even though they were living the American dream. I think that was some strong commentary on kind of the toll that this individualist lifestyle takes on people. And I was only able to see that through this lens of looking at characters and their interactions. And then moving backwards, this was a big part of the book, the constant perspective changes. So this kind of led me into seeing all the differences between these characters, seeing their flaws, seeing what drives them forward, and seeing how I can learn from every single one of these. Like Emmett, he was a great guy, but he had flaws. He was angry, but he was able to fix that with kind of counting to 10. I can actually, Nabokov tells me not to do that, but I can actually kind of relate to that. I've had some issues in the past with anger, and I think simple solutions are good ones. I think that's a good, if simple, lesson that the author was able to teach. And then up here, I'm back on the topic of Wooly. Wooly was a confusing character to me. He had, and I think a lot of that was intentional, just to show how he operated differently from probably most of the people reading this, just to get some commentary on how autistic people kind of see the world. But I think, again, me noting just he was constantly fixated on these tiny little details. This was about like the dictionary, how many permutations. And then here's about the New York, the 8 wonders of the world. None of them are in New York. No one appreciates these things that are right there. So Wooly's character was able to get me more in touch with the world around me and appreciate more. So that was a big lesson I learned from this book. I actually, this book had a lot of wisdom to give, but I did have a pretty major weakness, which is that I got pretty frustrated with some of the characters. So then I wasn't able to extract the wisdom from what they had to say. Like there was, Nabokov at the end of his essay says that we should read with our spine. And I think that's an interesting way to put it, because the spine, it's a bone, it's just something rigid, but also it has the spinal cord, which kind of connects everything in your body and allows you to function. So I think the spine is more than just being an objective observer, but also using all your senses to see what the author is trying to tell you. So yeah, the first instance of me doing a bad job with this was with Billy. Billy really frustrated me, partially because I don't think a 8-year-old kid could have so much wisdom. This was when he was in the train car, and he kind of made a play on words with Emmett's definition of a friend and an acquaintance. And then this really clouded my perception of Billy. It happened again on page 20, when about the school, he was supposed to be like the hero, and he had the clipboards and walking around. That really annoyed me. I don't know, it just seemed like the kind of person I would not like in real life. So then come the class discussion, when the part about Billy's like ability to use his knowledge from reading to get more done, it went totally over my head. I hadn't even thought that Billy was meant to be a likable or admirable character. So that was completely lost on me, and that was something I could have done much better. And then again, this happened with Sally. Sally frustrated me this time because I felt like her attacks, especially on like men, were kind of personal attacks, which may have been the point. It kind of made me uncomfortable because she called out some stuff I do, some assumptions I have. And so then I discounted her. I didn't learn what she had to say. I didn't internalize the lessons she had to teach me, even though there was a lot of stuff there. And then come the discussion, we got that sheet of topics, and I realized I haven't even thought about how Sally is as a female character. It had never dawned on me, so that was a big failure in my reading. But so then I was missing all these details, and I couldn't come to a complete, valid interpretation. There's still more to see. I still need to go back, reread, before I can be that. Well, there's no perfect model reader, but a better model reader. Get more details, get a better interpretation, a more valid interpretation of the text. But overall, I think I I think I improved with a major flaw this quarter. All right. Thank you.